Okay, so I'm going to show you very quickly, I hope, how to make a nice looking label for a basket that has either wicker or maybe it's fabric, because it never fails that it's really hard to get a label to stick to these. So this is how I do it, and I make it look super cute, kind of like this one. These are the supplies that I generally use. You can use a hole punch if you want to. That's not a requirement at all, but I start off with some super cute paper, whichever type I like at the time. Right now I'm kind of digging the white paper with a slight pattern. So I'm going to grab a sheet of my white patterned paper, and I'll just cut out a strip of it right now because I'm going to make several different labels. And then I will take, for me, I found this hole punch that's super cute pattern on it. You can do a straight cut of this paper if you want to. It's up to you. There's no right or wrong way to do it. But basically, if you're using the hole punch, you just put it in the punch. And I'll just do one for you real quick. Punch it out. And then you can set those aside and you've got your label paper. Now, the first thing I want to do is laminate this, because otherwise it's going to look really dingy and get all beat up because it's just paper. So my cheap and easy way, so I don't have to pull out my laminator, is to use just packing tape. Let's see if there's enough of this to do the project. But all I do is take a piece of packing tape and I make it about 2 times as long as the piece of paper. And I put it down on the piece of paper on the front. Then I wrap it around to the back. And then I just cut off the excess. So I've just basically covered both sides with clear packing tape. Doesn't matter what kind you use. I'm not brand specific or type specific. I just cut it out. This is if you don't have a laminator or don't want to pull out your laminator. I have one, but I rarely pull it out for things like this because that would just be too cumbersome. So I'm cutting off all the excess, or a quick job of it at least. Then I grab a hole punch. I have, of course, one that makes heart shapes, just because, of course, I've got to be a little silly and cutesy. But I just do, oh, I kind of missed the edge, but generally I try to make the edges so that I can see the outside of the paper too, and you can tell that it's a heart, but we'll go with it on this one. This is how it usually looks though. And then there are 2 ways that I use to attach it to the basket. Either I use some super cute string, or sometimes I found these on Amazon. These are just the little tabs that you find clothing tags in a store hung up on with. So I actually ordered, it was just a couple dollars for a huge pack of these. Since I'm an organizer, this made sense. It probably would not make sense for you to order a ton of these, but if this is what you prefer, go for it. But you just string it through, and what I generally do is I will string it through the basket. You could do this the same way with string. It's just my twine. Right now I don't have my favorite twine. I've only got the twine that does not stick very well, so I don't like that one right now. And then you string it through the other side and then through the basket. So you'll see I'm just going in between the weave. You can do this on wicker, you can do this on fabric. If you have a full fabric bin, then you might want to find a handle, one with a handle or something like that you can loop it through the handle, whatever works for you. But then I just clasp it at the back. You can also do this with zip ties. Zip ties work really well for this too. But now I have a nice, cute hanging tag for my bin, and it just looks kind of nice. Now, handwritten labels aren't quite as visually appealing. So my favorite label maker is the P-Touch. It doesn't matter which kind of label maker you have though, but here's a pro tip. I usually, whatever labels I need, I print up all of the different labels on one strip first, so that way it does not give me all this excess between. So I'll print up everything that I can, and then I'll just cut the parts that I need off separately so that I'm not wasting a lot of labels. So these are actually all of the labels that I will be using for the bins in my linen closet. I actually have one more, but I spelled pillowcases wrong. So this could be a reprint. This one is obviously too long, so I'll just cut it. And I like to use the clear back so I can see the paper through it. You could use a white back label if you want, but I just peel it off. And then I add it to the label, and I'm done. That is how I add labels to some of those more awkward bins to make them look nice and cute and a little bit fancier.